What if the reason you feel stuck isn't because you need a better strategy, but because you've become disconnected from yourself? And as a result, your nervous system is at capacity, unable to handle next level success. In today's episode, I sit down with Renee Marie Lowney, speaker, mentor, and creator of the iconic Woman Blueprint, to discuss why so many ambitious people spend years chasing success using someone else's roadmap, only to discover they've drifted further and further away from who they truly are. Ring a bell? In the conversation, we explore nervous system capacity, authenticity, enmeshing your self-worth with your results and income, burnout, masculine and feminine energy, and the powerful process of returning to your own internal blueprint. Renee is a speaker, a mentor, a host of the She's Iconic podcast, helping high-achieving women recalibrate the way they lead, grow, and build success. And after scaling a multi-six-figure beauty education business and teaching all across the country, she realized that true expansion wasn't about doing more. It was about identity, nervous system capacity, and embodied leadership. And today, she's the creator of the Iconic Woman Blueprint and the founder of the Iconic Woman Movement, helping women build success in a way that is aligned to their uniqueness and to do so in a significant and sustainable way. A lot of energy, a lot of tactics, and a lot of insights coming your way. Have something handy to take notes with, and let's dive right in. Renee, you've said that most people do not need another strategy. They need greater nervous system capacity. What does that mean?
Oh, absolutely. What a juicy question. Because I used to be there. I used to think if I just had the next strategy, if I just had the next coach to lead me and teach me and show me what to do, just give me the pathway. And what I've learned in my evolution is that you are the literal blueprint. We all have an iconic blueprint within, and we must go within to see what is the thing that just gives me the most brilliance. And when you really lock into your truth, like that is underneath it all, right? Like your truth, I say, is your strategy. And I've been down the rabbit hole of following other strategies that just felt like, oh, this isn't it for me.
Yeah.
And once I stripped all that away, everything that was not me, I then became the strategy, and I found my way and my unique way to sell, to serve, to create, to connect with others. And that's why I say, you are the strategy. You are the blueprint.
Really well said. Like I hear the word authenticity,
Sure.
yet we live at a time where social media makes it so easy to project authenticity, but it's actually incredibly incongruent, inauthentic for most people. So for the person listening who absolutely like, boom, that smacked them upside the head, it resonates with them. Where do they begin returning to their true selves?
Great question. Where to begin? So I like to start with the through line of your genius, because this is something that you know that you tend to bypass once you get to a certain level, because you're looking and you're like, okay, what worked before, it's not working anymore.
Yeah.
But we start to kind of lose where we began in the first place, which was, oh my God, this thing lights me up. I'm using my gifts. I'm using my genius. And it's like that first initial spark you have when you start entrepreneurship, right?
Yes.
And then we start building and growing and evolving and carrying beliefs and conditioning that aren't ours. So I start with, what is the truest for you when you say, okay, through my entire life, what has been the through line of my genius? For me, it has been the artistry of being able to captivate a room, to be able to be bold and daring and share my inner wisdom and knowledge and been on stages. I mean, I was an aspiring singer and actress. Then that translated into the beauty industry where I taught classes all over the US. That was my stage. And I realized there was this through line even into what I do now, which is showcasing you how to become visible in your truest essence, how to command a room, how to command the stage, how to really show that authenticity, which tends to get drowned out again with the conditioning and the beliefs that aren't yours. So this is a step one. Step one is identifying what has been the through line in your life that connects you like to your genius. And you'll know it is the thing that lights you up the most. It's the thing that makes you so free. It is a thing that comes easy to you. And sometimes we can just get deterred from that. So I ask, okay, if you're just at this point in your evolution where you're growing, scaling, evolving, and you're like, well, what is it? I really the thing is like asking the people that are closest to you, like, what do you see that's so great about me that maybe I'm not seeing
Mm,
myself right now? Going through client testimonials. What is the through line in those testimonials? Like the things that you have not been looking at. And like I said, the things that come easy to you, the jobs that maybe you've had, and you're like, oh, this one I loved, and this one, oh my God, I didn't love this.
yeah.
That is it right there. So getting back to that.
What gets people off track from that? In your experience, maybe give us one or the top couple that come to mind. Like, why does it become so easy to get so far away from our truth?
Honestly, as a heart-led entrepreneur, as someone who has a big mission and movement in her heart, like many of the people, like the person listening right now, right? You're listening to this because you
Yeah.
are, you want to get unstuck as a high performer. Why are you a high performer? Because you are connected to your mission and your vision.
Yeah.
And sometimes that blinds us because we're like, ooh, we see the success that someone else has. How did they get it? How did they
Mm,
get that success? That is where we start to derail. We start to think that someone else has the answers. And this happened for me when I was at the end of my teaching career for beauty education. And I started teaching others how to become educators, become
mm,
coaches, how to become leaders. So, what did I do? I hired mentorship. I went into a coaching program that taught, okay, we're going to do the VSL and get people on sales calls. And guess who was doing it as a mom of three? Getting on sales calls,
mm,
convincing people, like doing all the things that just like, oh, felt so heavy. Like, I am
yeah.
so authentic. I am so real. I don't want to convince you. I just want to state the truth. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
So that derailed me for a little bit because I'm like, oh, I made my first 30K month that day, that way, right?
Yeah.
And it starts to trick you. And you're like, well, it's
Uh-huh.
making me the money, but it's not giving me the fulfillment. And I am not
Yeah.
being the mother I want to be or the leader that I want to be or being truthful and honest with what my core values are here.
I love your response there. And there's so many directions I want to go. But first thing that stands out is I'm curious your take. Like, there are so many ways to make money, to sell, to market, to promote yourself, to build a thriving business that is rooted in grinding it out or rooted in much more simplicity and alignment. Do you feel taking some of those paths that you learned weren't for you actually were incredibly helpful and became catalysts to get you to what it is you actually wanted?
Oh, 1000%. And that's where the iconic woman blueprint was built.
Yeah.
I came back. I remember I went to my cousin's wedding in Sweden. And my husband and I said, well, if we're going all the way to Sweden, we might as well stop in Positano first. So we went to Italy first. We
Yeah.
had a couple days there. We went to Sweden. And it was like, that was in the midst of me having my mastery program where I was doing the sales calls, all those things. And I got to just detach for a good 10 days.
Mm.
And what I realized just about like the lifestyle there, the culture and all the things is just like how intentional everything is, how slow
Yeah.
paced everything is, but just so like from the boutique hotel we stayed in. I mean, it was family run. Like everyone did their
Oh.
part and it just worked. Like even the traffic flow, it's like we were just sitting like right there in the road, basically eating, our pasta or my affogato, and these cars are just zooming past the mopeds and all that. But it was like organized chaos, right? And it just worked.
Mm.
So I was like, I took that back with me and I was like, how can I live my most authentic life that is truly me and live this life of peace, right? Because before I just felt like it was so fast, like being ambitious, having this big vision and mission, wanting to make millions and billions, wanting to have massive global, impact. It makes you think you have to be in the constant grind and doing, right?
Yeah.
And that's where it made me like have that abrupt stop. And when I came back, I shut all of my ads down. I stopped doing
Yeah.
sales calls. And that's when I learned breath work, somatics, nervous system mastery. And I realized how much of me I had lost in the midst of becoming a coach, becoming a mentor, the conditioning of this industry. And it just became very heavy. So that was the catalyst for change right there.
I love that. And what came to mind for me as I listened is it's like dating. You have to date, enough people to learn what you do not want and what you do want. And society can make it pretty easy to pinpoint exactly what we don't want. But many people struggle to answer the question, what do I want? It's so easy to outsource success or the blueprint, like you mentioned. Like there's 50 million blueprints to get the 7 figures, to get the 8 figures. But if it's incongruent from the lifestyle you want to live and what feels at peace in your body, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And for those of you listening, that the reason I brought up, all the paths Renee's taken and I can relate to without finding, success in that path is it does inevitably influence the clarity that you want. And which is why I know on this podcast, I sound like a broken record, but I challenge myself and everyone listening all the time to journal every day. What do I want? To start getting clarity, finding more ease and comfortability, answering that question, because it is a skill. We have to retrain ourselves to think for ourselves and not just go after what Instagram or TikTok tells us is the way to have success in life.
Well, I think and I love that. It's like that is your North Star, right?
Yeah.
And what it made me realize is like, what do I actually believe? What do I actually
Mm.
believe? What are my core values here? What am I doing that feels out of integrity? And when I marinated on that, I was like, wow, this is not it.
You said something so interesting though, like when you, and I'm going to paraphrase intentionally, slowed down and stopped to actually think about it versus trying to do your way into it, that's where the clarity came. For everybody listening, I'm going to assume, but imagine that they're here in part because they struggle to slow down. They are always doing and going. That tenacity is a superpower, but they're here and their interest is piqued because lately it started to flirt with becoming their kryptonite. Take us back to your chapter of life where you were in that grinder mentality, always doing. And how did you begin to find a sense of safety, slowing down?
Fabulous question. So it is what my body knew from when I was born and then
Oh.
became the oldest of 5 children. I mean, right there. And my dad was an entrepreneur, like he infused that into my
Mm,
blood. So from the beginning, I always carried the weight. I was like, I got it. I'm the leader.
yeah.
And I mean, I moved out when I was 18. Duh. Like, why wouldn't I? I worked at a bougie ass salon. Like I was making like $800 a week, which was insane as an 18-year-old. I moved out on my own. I worked in New York City. I did all these things. And it was the constant, like, yes, this is making me feel alive. But it was like also the constant chasing for something, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I just remember when I learned the nervous system mastery, I realized how much I was doing out of urgency, out of like, I need to have this now. This needs to happen now. And then what came up to me is like Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Like it's like that you're if you're living out a big legacy, a big mission, a big vision, like that is not built fast. Yes, momentum is needed, but clean, like precision is needed in order to catapult there.
Yeah.
So I realized that even though I was moving fast and I was doing, and oh my gosh, multitasking between being a mom and hopping on sales calls and doing this and that and traveling and doing all these things, I was like, there was no like exhale. There was no
Mm,
like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. Am I actually living out the fullest version of my life? And the first realization was when I lost my brother. When I lost my brother, in which
mm,
ironically, I mean, this podcast is so close to his anniversary date of his death, which was on the 9th of this month. But when I lost him, in June of 2018, it made me slow down. It made me realize, where am I not truly living? And at this point, I was working behind the chair doing cut and color. I was doing weddings on the weekends. I was
mm.
shooting content for brand deals. I was educating. I was doing, well, and I was a mom of one
Yeah.
at that point. I was navigating a separation from my ex, like all these things. And I'm like, but what do I really desire? And how can I live my fullest life and fullest expression? And that was when I decided I'm not just here building a business. I'm here to build a movement and change people's
Mm,
lives. And how can I do that? And that's when I went all in on being a bridal hair educator. And that allowed me to live in that season, in those 10 years of teaching, to live in my fullest expression.
yeah.
And it just made me ask myself that question.
Did you wear that tenacity, that ability to work 24/7, almost like a badge of honor?
Yeah. Okay. I was one that was like, here's where like all the standards just got raised in this identity upgrade that I'm in right now. I'm the people pleaser. I'm the one who does all the things, carries all the
Yeah.
things. And yeah, I got it all together and put on this facade and this performance. And yeah, I wear it like a badge of honor. Like, I freaking got this shit. I've had
Yeah.
it since I was 18, living on my own. And yeah, I'm a multitasker. I could be a mom and do this at the same time. And I
Yeah.
realized these are not great qualities. These are actually not great things to wear as a badge of honor.
Well,
It
so
was
I
not good.
I
Yeah.
asked that twofold. One, I relate intimately to that because that was my identity for a while. But two, like most people listening right now, they pride themselves on their mental toughness. And
Yeah.
as you know, as well as I do, most people mistake that grit and they don't see that it's actually this nervous system dysregulation. They are literally stuck in fight or flight, always on. So the person listening right now who was where you were previously, just always on and struggling to see a way out, where do you begin to direct them to finding a sense of safety and slowing down?
You hire me as your one-to-one coach, and then we work through all of the layers to get you to safety.
Mm.
Just to be direct,
Yeah.
honestly, because it is work. And you cannot, and I know this from doing the work, you cannot create safety in your body from a nervous system. For me, it was 38 years of the same wiring, of the same like go, go, go. Like, do you know how long it took me to be like, oh, instead of hitting the ground running in the morning and getting breakfast for my kids and feeding the dogs and doing those, do you know how long it took me to be like, I'm going to go sit in the sunshine outside and sip my espresso and write in my journal this morning? And guess what? It's okay if the kids sit inside watching Wild Kratts for a minute so that I could do that for 10 minutes for myself. It
Yeah.
took time because at first my nervous system was like, this is not safe. It's on high alert. If you're not doing, if you're not
Mhm.
showing up, if you're not always on, you're not going to make money. And my output and my doing was equated to making money. Where I learned that actually
Yeah.
with this safety and building the safety of my body, we need to rest and digest. We need both. We need rest and we also need to have that fuel and go and do, right? So I would say first start by observing. When
Yeah.
you observe and you're aware that, oh my God, my mind is going right now. I feel like there's so much urgency. Like that was the one thing I pinpointed first was like, why am I rushing right now? There's nothing to rush.
Yeah.
So if you could just quiet the mind for a minute to just observe and not make a story about anything, but just observe, what's going on right now? Why do I
Yeah.
feel like my jaw is clenching and like, oh my God, I have to do this right now. Like, can we just like for just a minute, even if it's just that microsecond,
Yeah.
and just observe what's happening.
I love that because with awareness then comes opportunity to accept and take action. Now,
Yeah.
something that stands out to me because, and you don't know this, like my background is as a sports dietitian, but then I spent 10 years really primarily working with women who were stuck in the yo-yo dieting cycle and helping them first lose the limiting beliefs and emotional baggage that was actually keeping them stuck. But I used to have conversations all the time. You're not 50 pounds overweight because of what you did yesterday. This was a gradual build of bad habits that compounded over time. And similarly, to get to where you want to be, it's not an overnight process. But so many people would make the mistake, and I know many people listening can relate of, I'm going to try to lose 50 pounds in 30 days. And sure, you might, even though that's a stretch, but it is all going to come back with vengeance and then some if you take that unsustainable approach. So I highlight that because what Renee shared is gold and just starting small, gaining that true awareness of everything that's going on around you in your mind and in your body, and letting that, going back to what you kicked off with, being your blueprint for how to move forward.
Absolutely. And I love how you brought up just the small little habits, the small
Yeah.
steps, right? And then maybe also flash back to like, yeah, when I did the keto diet before I went to Italy and I got lost 20 pounds, I came back and I gained it all back, right? Because I wanted that fast, quick,
Uh-huh.
And I just love the book Atomic Habits by James
Mm.
Clear. And when you pair this with building a business, when you pair this with building your internal safety and capacity as a leader, you realize that it is these small, little, incremental steps that you must take. And I mean, James Clear says it so well. He's like, yeah, if you make this big goal and you're like, I'm going to do this big thing, it's like, what is it going to last? Like a day or two or a week? And then you're like, oh my God, this is too much. Instead of being like, oh, I'm going to do 10 push-ups today. Great. I'm
Yeah.
not going to run a marathon yet, but I'm going to do 10 push-ups. Okay. I am going to go outside for 10 minutes and do yoga in the morning before I start my day.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to do it for 1 hour and I'm going to meditate and I'm going to do my journaling. Like, can we stop putting so much pressure on ourselves to change right away? Like,
Yeah.
so important.
Agreed. Like something I'm chewing on this season of life is do less better. And, we run with those examples. You don't need to put 15 new to-dos to upgrade your morning routine on your plate. Start with one thing, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes of just sunshine, maybe even before you add the journaling. Just start small and build momentum. You said something that really piqued my interest a couple minutes ago. Your whole self-worth was just enmeshed about your results, the money you were bringing in, and the number of, deals you were closing. You as a producer was related to how you felt about yourself. Take us back to some of the internal dialogue and that internal experience during that time. And then how did you begin to separate the two, knowing that you are worthy and deserving of all you desire, regardless of your income for a given month or quarter?
Okay, this is such a great question. I'm just like beaming, smiling because I'm like, at this point in my life, we'll go back to like all the successes, all the accolades, all the things that I had, how I felt with that. But right now, I have never felt so powerful and so
Mm,
certain, even though you might look at my life and be like, what are you talking about? Shit's crumbling around you. Because we
mm,
all know in the healing journey, in an identity evolution, there's going to be dips. There's going to be income dips. There's going to be days where you're like, what the heck is happening? And everything
yeah,
is rearranging in the universe. And you're like, what's going on? And then it just all works because you're like, oh, yes, my internal's matching my external, right? And it's holding the duality of that. So, what I have to say is, before, I used to think that my worth equated with all the accolades I had, all the
mm,
clients that came in that were praising me, that were like, yes, Renee, you changed my life, this and that, all the magazine features, all the times I was flown out to California for a product launch, to New York to do a shoot for a magazine, to asked to go teach classes in 14 different states, to, oh my God, so this girl is driving from or flying from New York to Florida to take a one-to-one class with me. Like, it gets to your head.
yeah,
It gets to your head and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I know who I am, right? But I used to think that, oh, I need those things to feel worthy. Whereas now going through this transition, this evolution, where for a while, I shut down my bridal educator programs. I shut everything down because
mhm,
I had to go through this healing journey. And that was a part of the shed. The part of the shed was like, I am no longer going to put myself in the box of the beauty industry. I've grown and evolved out of it. I'm here to lead the leaders. Let me claim that. Let me own that.
yeah.
But through that was like, ooh, well, where's your income now, Renee? Like, it was all stripped away. The clients stripped away. The all the things, right? But I've never felt so clear and certain in my life. And
Mm,
then all of the synchronicities and all of the proof that, oh my God, it's working now. Wow. But how
yeah,
powerful is that to have that internal safety and knowing like I am where exactly I need to be, and feeling like before I was always like, oh, this is tied to my self-worth. I need people wanting me. I need people needing me. I need people asking me to be in a magazine or do this and that. And I'm like, no, I'm worthy
yeah.
enough. And that's honestly been the most powerful evolution that's happened with this work.
Hmm. What was the catalyst for that transformation? Was there a coach, a mentor, many psychedelics, journaling practice? Like, tell us more.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had right after I got back from that Italy trip, it was August of 2024. I had a breath work session with my friend Kayla. I've never done breath work before, but during the
Uh,
session, what came up was I had a flashback to my younger self. I was 16. I was standing at the piano next to my vocal instructor, and she was playing Mariah Carey Hero. I was singing it. And I just remember that feeling that buzzed in my body of just like freedom. Like, oh,
mm,
yes, just the connecting with myself and my voice and the excitement to be on stage and share that. And it was like a slap in the face. Like, you're not fucking having fun anymore in your business. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, bring that Renee back. So that was the
No.
first thing. The next was this woman, Courtney. I love her. She's my dear friend now. She introduced me to somatics and nervous system work. And we were actually in the same coaching program together, which we ended up being like, oh, this isn't it. And what a blessing. What a gift. Like, I paid 10 grand basically for her, like I paid 10 grand for the program, but I got her out of it. Phenomenal. Right. And she taught me this work, and I went through one of her programs that December of 2024. And then, and then she did a certification, and I was like, oh my God, I'm in. And I started, and then I became certified in somatics and nervous system work. And that was it. That was the catalyst for the change. Cause I was like, this is literally the missing piece. This is the missing piece of leadership. Where has this been all my life? This is what I've needed to source my power and my truth and everything. Like, where has this been all my life? And that was it. That was it.
Do you have a daily practice now? I'm going to label it like an emotional regulation check-in grounding practice every day that has become a non-negotiable as a result?
So I think where people get it twisted in the beginning with learning nervous system work is they think, okay, I need to set out time during the day to do my somatic practice, to check in with my body. It is literally going back to James Clear's book, in the micro moments, throughout the day. When I am triggered by something, okay, let me get into my body. Why am I triggered by this? When something happens with my kids, okay, wait, let me get into my body. Why do I want to scream with them right now? It is in the micro moments throughout the day. Challenges that have come up in my business that have been like, Renee, are you ready to handle this? Are you ready to have the capacity to deal with what just happened right here? And in those moments, I decide to connect with myself, to connect with my body, and not be internal in my mind and make it a story and make it a thing. So honestly, that has been, it is an active practice daily.
Yeah. So what I hear is you've learned the skill of slowing down. You've learned the skill of being able to pause and look inward, get a feeling sensation. And I think maybe the difference maker for you, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you've learned how to ask the right questions and to facilitate a productive internal dialogue. Why am I feeling triggered? What's coming up for me? That with that non-judgmental curiosity allows you to get to the root of whatever's going on and then either breathe or feel your way through it.
Absolutely. And it's allowed me to be responsive, like clear and responsive without being reactive. And I'm a very emotional person. I mean, I'm a Pisces, I'm a projector. If you know anything about human design, astrology, all that, that is like a combination there.
Big
Very
energy.
emotional, big energy.
Yeah.
But that is it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. For those of you listening, like, it seems so simple, and
Yes.
you hear breath work or just checking in with yourself. What is, especially for the men, like, men, I was for 30 years, so I happily say it. Emotionally constipated is kind of the default for most of us. That ability to start putting a feeling, a color, a sensation to what is coming up in your body allows you to rapidly work through and let go of emotions that come up, because it's not a matter of if, or rather if I'm going to be triggered today, it's when. Like, that's part of the human experience. It's a landmine or an emotional battlefield, and you have to have these skills to navigate, to stay at your best for as much of the day as possible.
Absolutely. It's definitely a skill, and it's definitely something not to be rushed. So yeah.
Well said. I'm going to shift us now, and real quick clarifying question I forgot to ask you. Do you primarily coach women or do you coach men as well?
That's a great question. And it was weighing on me for so long because I'm like, my brother is infused into so much of my work, and I'm all about mental health. And like this helps your mental health, right? Like, learning this work, it connects you to your body. It takes away the overwhelm. It takes away that anxiety. And the reason why I chose women
Mm-hmm.
is because we are cyclical beings. Like, we are wired differently. We are wired differently. And I connect with a woman in a different way than I connect with a man. And not to say that this work doesn't work for a man, not to say that the blueprint doesn't work for a man. 1000% it does. But I've choose to work with women because there's just different things. There's different conversations. There's different topics. And I feel like as women, we are the ones, and you can counter me on this as a man. let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I feel like as women in the society, we are taught to just hold it all together. You're supposed to, you're the mother, you're the nurturer, you're the one supposed to hold the weight of everything, hold the emotions of everything. Um, so I feel like us as women have to kind of navigate certain things that I don't feel men understand. So that makes the spaces that I have so potent and powerful is because we have this deep understanding of each other.
Yeah, I'd say deep relatability and empathy. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I agree with you. And I think it goes both ways in that both men and women each have their own respective set of societal pressures, expectations,
Absolutely.
and beliefs that are ingrained in them from a very young age. And that relatability can be huge. So the reason I brought that up was to dig into masculine versus feminine energy. And what I'm getting at here is, and I'm obviously speaking for men primarily, is that, that prove it energy that I got to be the hunter and the killer to provide for my family. It's a superpower until it's not. And I
Right.
have an imagination. I want to hear your take. Like, I work with a lot of high performing women, and they very much embody those masculine energy characteristics. They're
Mhm.
immensely great at doing, repressing emotions.
Mm.
Would
Yeah.
you say that there is at least a need for both of those energies in any high performer?
Oh, we can get into this. I'm gonna we can get into this so much. And I want to just backtrack to, is this for women? I actually had like a download the other day where it's like, it's the iconic you. It is the iconic blueprint, is the iconic you. So I mean, I don't
Mm,
know, it might evolve into being just the iconic you and not the iconic woman.
yeah.
Because yes, I feel like when I created the iconic woman, I was very much into my feminine. I was
Mm,
very much into my feminine. It was a liberating thing. It was me stripping away everything that I'm not, claiming who I am. It's like growing up, right? We want to be liked, loved, chosen, all the things, right? But it's like, okay, how do we contort ourselves? How do we prove ourselves to be
yeah.
chosen, right? Oh, we hang out with the kids that, like this certain sport or like this kind of music. And it's like, I fucking love rap. And I used to sing fucking opera. Like, hello, I'm a walking contradiction here, you know?
Yeah.
And I love my big, bold lip. I love being glamorous. And also, I love being like so freaking chill. Like, I'm both, right? So, what happened is like I swung so much into the feminine because I had gotten so much into my masculine that I pendulated all the way
Yeah.
into this feminine energy. And then I realized along the journey, like, wow, the yin and the yang, the ebbs and the flows, like we need both. And there needs to be that balance within. Without that balance, there's no cohesiveness. There is like just this like almost this this chaos where it's like the feminine is like looking for parts in the masculine, but she's not getting it. So it's like that's where you get stuck, right? And that's where I
Yeah.
felt like I was stuck in the evolution journey. It was like, oh, I'm just gonna embrace all my feminine over here. And it was screaming for that masculine again. And now I feel like I fused both of them together and we
Mm,
have this love for like this. So
yeah.
we need both 100%.
So a couple buzzwords that stand out to me, and if you're listening right now, you don't need to fully be a expert in masculine feminine energy. The buzzwords I want you to pay attention to are structure, doing versus being, play, rest, on versus off, present versus distracted. Like, these are all areas where you can take one to the extreme and it can be great until it becomes destructive. And like, for me personally, I was working 70-hour weeks for a very long time. When I finally had a couple rock bottom burnout moments, I swung the opposite direction. I was as
That
chill as
happened.
they fucking come. And it was great until it wasn't, because like you
Yeah.
actually said, it's a good word. There was internal chaos for me. I felt this compulsion to be doing more to get back to structure. And for me, it's through, going down the wrong path for a while, but the path I needed in that season of life that has allowed me now to carve out my own path where I know that I thrive on structure. And that structure actually allows me to chill the fuck out harder than ever before while also being intensely productive like never before.
1000%. And your story is my story, the same thing. It like worked until it didn't. I
Yeah.
was coupling the pain of being so heavy in my masculine with like pain. This was painful. So I didn't
Mhm.
even want to go back there until I realized, yeah,
Yeah.
I need both. I need the structure. I got way too relaxed. And I was like, wait a minute. It like killed my ambition for a little bit. I'm like, what is happening here? Like, I am so ambitious. I am so alive. And there was at one point my husband asked me, like, we were laying in bed at night and like just talking about like obviously going through financial struggle as this whole evolution happened. And he's like, are you happy? Like, are you happy doing what you're doing now? And I answered him and I said, I will be. And I was like, what the fuck? What was that? I was like, that's not the answer I want to give him. I want to give him the answer. I'm happy now in the evolution,
Mm.
in the journey, in what I'm doing now. And then again, the fun and aliveness rang in my head. Like, you are not doing things that are feeling fun and alive. Do those things. That is the way. That is your blueprint. So that was a really big, wake up call in that moment.
Are you living the life today that you've dreamed of living?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I've never felt so alive and certain in what
Mm.
I'm doing. Like it is crystal clear and nothing can make me feel different. You can throw anything at me. I am holding massive duality. And to be able to hold massive duality is the capacity that you need as a high level leader, as someone living out a big mission and vision.
Pause
And
right there, real quick, Renee. Unpack that for our listeners. What do you mean when you say being able to hold that duality?
oh yeah, this is good. Holding the duality of I know who I am. I know I'm on the right path. I know my internal state. I know everything is working out for me. And yet, holding the duality of like, whoa, your husband just had a motorcycle accident and was out for ACL surgery, and whoa, financial debt. Whoa, your fucking lab just ate a corn on the cob and it's $7,000 in vet bills. Whoa,
Mm.
Renee, you put this offer out 15 million times and no one's buying. Whoa. And then
Yeah.
the other side of like, wow, Renee, you're getting invited onto podcasts, you're getting referred, you're getting clients, you're getting traction again. Like holding the duality of like, I know I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm expanding my capacity to hold this time of like uncertainty of like, what is happening right here? But also knowing that everything's happening as it's supposed to happen. That is what
Yeah.
I mean by capacity and duality is being able to hold both truths at the same time. That is literal mastery.
That acceptance is also how you mitigate suffering. Like I think that is so well said when you acknowledge and accept that you can be. I'm going to simplify this very much. So you can be anxious and confident, scared and certain, and you said it on such a better macro level. But the reason I highlighted that for those of you listening is this is not the first guest to say that. The superpower to get to that next level is the ability to hold two truths simultaneously that are polar opposites and to act anyway. You'll hear, I think Renee and I's episode will be 175, 179, 181. These guests too have talked about this, and it's just so powerful. So for somebody listening who is beginning to open up their heart and mind to see that, okay, I can hold these two polarizing truths, how do you walk them through the inevitable discomfort they will experience as they work towards acceptance?
Yeah, this is a great question. And again, it comes down to the simplicity of it. And I'll walk you through something that my dear friend and the one that taught me this nervous system mastery is being able to get yourself in the present moment and also be able to know that, oh my God, this stuff's happening, right? So when you're able to bring in presence, right? So she's like, okay, I was holding a glass. I was going through something wild. And she's like, okay, let's get into your body. Let's feel the feels. Let's feel the things. It is safe for me to feel the things, but also know that I'm here. Nothing's happening to me. I don't have a lion chasing me. No one's
Yeah.
hurting me, like physically. And your brain can like try to hurt you, right? And she's like, okay, just like hold the glass, feel the cool temperature on the glass, right? Using just like just pendulating between, feeling the glass, being present in the moment, smelling the
Yeah.
smell of my lemon and my mint, and then coming back to like the feeling of being betrayed, the feeling of, oh my God, someone was trying to steal your idea. Oh my God, someone took over your event when it was your event. Like it was
Mm.
something that I recently navigated. And again, it showcased, okay, this is the lesson in it, right? And to be able to, it's presence. It's presence. When you can bring it, because think about it. When you're up in your head and you're like, ah, these things haven't even happened yet most of the time, right? It's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Like, it didn't even happen yet. Or it is happening. And oh my gosh, I can still be grateful for being in this present moment, having incredible health, sitting here with my children blowing bubbles outside, sitting here in the grass doing yoga. Like, I can be present in this moment and know that I'm okay. So
Mm.
just doing something small like that, it brings you back to yourself and lets you know, I'm safe here.
Yeah, and it just opens up the door for gratitude at that moment as well, which is such a
Yes,
superpower.
absolutely.
In this new chapter of life, this current evolution, what has become most important? Growth or peace?
Great question. So I know with peace there is growth. And because I know that now, it's not like a piece is the thing I'm chasing, right? It's something I'm embodying every day.
Mm.
So I know I'm simultaneously growing as I have peace. They're not separate. They're not
Yeah.
separate. It's happening at the same time. So I feel like in this season, it's again holding both the peace and the growth, the uncomfortableness
Mm.
and the comfortableness, the certainty and the uncertainty. It's like, boom, baby, let's have a party. Like, let's all get together and have a party. This is the way it's gonna go. And yeah,
I like that. So I find a lot of solace in this quote. That's not mine. One of my guests long ago actually shared this, and it still sticks with me. That your routines are your armor against anxiety, chaos, outside noise, whatever it may be for you. What are the non-negotiable routines that you have that keep you grounded, clear, and moving in the direction you desire?
absolutely. First of all, it's just the clarity every day. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? Is it aligned with my North Star? Is it aligned with my values? Is it
Mm.
aligned with uh how I'm feeling so certain, or am I doing this out of fear? Am I doing this out of scarcity? Am I doing this out of urgency? And being really freaking honest with myself. So I do just like a scan. Like I
Uh,
said, in the morning, but also throughout the day. Am I doing this out of urgency or am I doing this out of truth? Am I doing this from a place of uh trying to be chosen, or am I doing it, and again, in a place of truth? So I always start the morning with just being really honest with myself. And I mean, as a parent, like you have to navigate, your children and doing all the things. So I ask myself those times where I am dedicating myself to my work, am I doing with what is in true alignment with my internal world and my North Star and my core values and all the things. And like all the rest, goodbye. Like it's not happening.
yeah.
Right. And I feel like a lot of the times we can just get deterred because, like, oh, the old way worked before, and this old thing, it was a habit. I used to do this, I used to do that. And I mean, it's still things I'm currently navigating, but it's like, no, 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 no. If you want this, what is the thing you have to do to get there? And I think it plays a trick in our mind because we're like, well, I need the certainty that this thing is going to work. It's like starting a
Mm.
podcast, starting a YouTube, getting into the rooms, meeting people. Like you might think that it's like, oh, hey, it's going to be slower traction than going on and doing an Instagram reel or live or sharing this content. And it's like, that could have been the most powerful thing you do is like getting in the room with somebody. Right.
Yeah.
And I think there's just that conflict that can, happen. So yes, make sure that I stay on the path to what the actual true path is. And also do things that as a mother, I know I need. I know that I need my time to have just like alone every day. Like I take the space and time, whether it's like doing yoga at night as the sun's going down or reading a book that's like pleasurable before bed instead of scrolling. Like I will read a book. I will I will go to sleep when my body needs rest. I won't stay up like marinating on things, which I think sometimes at night, especially for us high achieving, performers, it's like your brain doesn't want to shut off, right? So I make it a very intentional where I have the routine of I have my tea, my ginger turmeric tea in my favorite mug, and I grab my Kindle or book that I'm reading. I I sound like an old lady, but I put on my heating mat on my bed, my heating pad, because I'm like, oh yes, and I just lay on the warmness and I read my book and just enjoy that. And so it's just these little things that I do daily is yeah, just making sure that I'm doing what's in alignment with my highest self, and moments where I feel like I'm slipping, where I'm like, oh, I'm starting to multitask again or trying to do work with taking care of kids. No, I make sure I have the boundaries and my standards in place to be a present mother, to be present in my business, and and really like live that and embody that.
For somebody listening who is off track, they feel misaligned, almost like they've lost sight of their North Star, they've lost their truth. What's the message that he or she needs to hear today?
Mm. Sit down with yourself, and if there was no fear attached, what would you do and who would you be? And who have you
Mm,
been all along that you're lying to yourself that you're not right now? Be honest with yourself.
incredible. I really like that, specifically with no fear attached. That's gold. Renee, where can everybody go to learn more about working with you and to connect with you online?
Absolutely. Oh, thank you so much for pulling this beautiful conversation out of me
Yeah.
today. You have just such a beautiful way of navigating it. And you can find me on Instagram at XO Renee Marie, xorenemarie.com. But yeah, the best place is XO Renee Marie. Yeah, come give me a little DM. I'd love to hear from you. And if you've listened to this episode,
Absolutely. And I'll link all of that in the show notes below. Renee, thank you so much.
thank you.
Damn. Energy was turned up to 12 out of 10. I'm grateful that you decided to tune in to another conversation here on the Unstuck High Performer podcast. I hope you felt challenged. I hope you felt spoken to. And I hope you felt inspired throughout today's conversation with Renee. And if you aligned with her story, her energy, her insights and wisdom, I can't recommend enough that you go follow and connect and even consider speaking with her via her website and social media, all of which is linked in the show notes below. My one ask today is that you share this conversation with a peer, a friend, someone close to you in your inner circle who needs that inspiration and candidly kick in the ass to return to their true authentic selves, to get out of their own way and become the best version that he or she is capable of becoming. Share this episode, and if you felt spoken to, take that as a sign. Take action to either Renee or myself and learn more about working one-on-one in a private individual container to help you get unstuck and out of your own way so you can unlock your potential. Make today great, and I'll catch you in the next episode.